We have some interesting news to cover with regards to Celtic and the current format of the Scottish League. We will go over this story in today's video as the effect it has on Celtic and the league could be massive. Not only that, we will also go over all the latest Celtic news from the last 24 hours, but first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Paulo Bernardo believes Jota is only just getting started in his second spell at Celtic and insists the winger's best form is still to come. Jota returned to the Hoops in January after a frustrating 18 months away, a period in which he made just 35 appearances following his high-profile exit in the summer of 2023. It's taken time for the Portuguese wide man to get up to speed, but recent performances suggest he's finding his feet once again. He's now scored 4 goals since his return, with his most recent coming in the convincing 3-0 win over Hearts at the weekend. He's also chipped in with 2 assists across his 8 appearances since re-signing for the club. While fans have been encouraged by his early contributions, there's a growing sense that Jota is only scratching the surface of what he can deliver. That's the view of fellow countryman Paulo Bernardo, who has seen firsthand the work Jota is putting in behind the scenes. Jota has already shown a lot of quality during these games. I spoke to him and he feels much better now than he was when he arrived. I think he's really important to the squad. At his age, I think there is more to come from him and he came here to show that too. He wants to show his quality and he is doing really well at the moment. He's working hard at Lennoxton every day. I think the best will come from him. With Celtic in the midst of a title push and potentially eyeing a domestic treble, Jota could have a major say in the season's run-in, but it's next season with a full pre-season under his belt where fans may once again see the winger hit the heights that made him a fan favourite during his first spell in Glasgow. Now for the main story, as the SPFL's competitions working group is exploring significant changes to the structure of Scottish football's top divisions, with the current 12-team Premiership model potentially set for an overhaul. One of the most radical proposals on the table is a move to a 10-team top flight and the scrapping of the top 6, bottom 6 post-split format. Under this plan, the total number of Premiership matches would drop from 38 to 36, easing fixture congestion, particularly for clubs involved in European competitions, who now face more games due to UEFA's expanded group stages. A 10-team second tier and a larger third league are also being considered as part of the wider reshuffle. However, the 10-team Premiership would mark the smallest top flight in Scottish football since the early 1990s, but it's not popular with fans who are keen to expand the league rather than reduce it. Alternative options reportedly under review include keeping the current 12-team format or expanding the league to 14 or 16 teams. A 14-club setup could help preserve the frequency of major derbies like Celtic versus Rangers, Hearts versus Hibs, and the Dundee derby, but the issue of imbalanced fixtures post-split would remain. While discussions are still in the planning stages and clubs have yet to be formally consulted, change could be introduced as early as next season, although the 2026/27 campaign appears more likely. Any restructuring will require broad support. 11 of the 12 Premiership clubs must vote in favour, along with 75% of the Premiership and Championship combined, and 75% of all 42 SPFL member clubs. In some other news, as Brendan Rodgers and Celtic edge closer to securing yet another Scottish Premiership title, the excitement among supporters is building. With a 13-point gap over Rangers and only 7 league games remaining, the Hoops are in a strong position. This weekend, Celtic face St Johnstone at McDiarmid Park, followed by Kilmarnock at Celtic Park 6 days later. The prospect of clinching the title is close, and fans have already begun to speculate when the league could be won. However, Rodgers remains focused on the task at hand and is unwilling to be drawn into premature celebrations. He addressed the growing buzz among Celtic supporters, acknowledging their desire to see the boys crowned champions as soon as possible. Despite his reluctance to get involved in the speculation, he expressed a clear understanding of why supporters are calculating when the league might be won. When asked, it's that time of the season where supporters and media start calculating when teams can win the league. You say you won't do that, but can you understand why supporters do? Rodgers said, "Yes, absolutely. That's the role of a supporter. They want to see when their team can succeed. It's been a long, intense season, so of course they look ahead. But for us, there's still work to do. Our focus is on the next game, St Johnstone away. They're fighting for survival, and it would be foolish to discount their spirit. Their new manager is trying to implement his ideas, and the pitch will be a challenge. But we have to play our game and bring home the points. Despite being on the brink of the league title, Rodgers remains cautious, knowing full well that each game ahead will be far from straightforward. With Simo Valakari in charge, the Perth side will be eager to prove themselves against the Hoops, and Celtic cannot afford to take them lightly. Rodgers is aware of any potential slip-ups, especially with St Johnstone's fight for survival and the often tricky conditions at McDiarmid Park. For the Celtic supporters eagerly awaiting confirmation of another league title win, Rodgers' words are a reminder of the discipline and professionalism required to cross the finishing line. While the celebrations may be just around the corner, for now, the focus is purely on the next 3 points. The journey to another league title is not over yet, and Rodgers is determined to ensure they cross that line with the same focus and commitment they've shown all season. And lastly, former Celtic winger Bobby Petter has shared his thoughts on Dyson Maida's new role at the Hoops. Specifically, the shift from his previous position on the wing to a more central role following Kyogo's departure in January. Petter, who enjoyed a memorable time at Celtic Park during the late 1990s and early 2000s, expressed that he was initially unsure about Maida's effectiveness as a winger. He said, "To be honest, at the start, I was a bit confused because of his running, because he's super fast. Now he's got a little bit more freedom being in the centre of the park. I think he has always been a striker." Reflecting on a conversation he had with Brendan Rodgers at a charity game, Petter said, "I remember speaking to Brendan Rodgers in one of the charity games at St Roch's, and I said, 'Can I say something about Maida? I'd love to work on his movement. He's super fast. The timing of his running is just a bit stuck. He needs to work on his movement. Come short, come long, because a lot of times he's standing here. I want him to go. He outruns everyone. He's got more momentum to do something with that." Petter added that Rodgers had acknowledged Maida's potential as a striker. Now he says, "But he's a striker. Now you see him, a different change. Now he runs on." The shift has allowed Maida to fully utilise his speed and clinical finishing, and it's clear that the move to a central role has taken him up a gear, if that was even possible. Petter's belief that Maida was always more suited to playing as a striker now looks like a sensational prediction, and for Celtic supporters, it's exciting to see Maeda stepping up and delivering in Kyogo's absence. Celtic fans, what are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let us know down in the comments section below. That does bring us to the end of today's video. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you,